Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video and talk about something, which is that I recently got married and I had to me, it was a fairy tale wedding. Um, it was actually really cool how it all worked out. So, my husband and I were planning on getting married and just doing a courthouse wedding, just something simple and just for the two of us. And we booked our honeymoon for Europe. And eventually we thought, why don't we just get married in Europe, in Paris? We were going to go to Paris and Rome. And it's something I'd always kind of imagined and dreamt about. And I thought, well, if it's just going to be the two of us, why don't we just do it then? So that's what we did. And in the meantime, it was difficult because when you get married by yourself, you have family and friends that are sad they can't be there. And about 2 weeks before we were leaving for Paris, we found out that we had to be legally married before we went there because of the rules in France. So we ended up putting together this really fast wedding, and it turned out really, really nice. There's a wedding house nearby that was very affordable, and they had an opening. We got married on a Tuesday at 3 p.m., and all of our family could make it. It was a small reception, but it was perfect. It was wonderful. I already had everything I needed for a bouquet and a dress and shoes and all that good stuff. So my family put together a wonderful reception for us afterward, and surprisingly, they did video and photography for it, and so it was really special and beautiful. And then we had our wedding before the Lord in Paris. So we didn't accept that we were married until we got married in the presence of God, which was represented by a pastor whom we met who's from Paris. So we did that. That was on December 15th. And I just wanted to send a message out there because I got married at 32. I'm 30. I just turned 32 years old. And I, for the longest time, had always wanted to be married. When I was younger, I just wanted to be a mom with kids and a husband. Those were my life goals. And I had thought I'd be married by 25, and I know a lot of people do that. Maybe you feel inadequate because you haven't met the right one yet, or maybe you're divorced, and there's just a lot of guilt and feelings of inadequacy that could be there. And I just want to speak against those and let you know that, like in my situation, I pretty much idolized having a husband. I thought that I wasn't worthy of love or affection. I wasn't beautiful. I wasn't, I didn't have a life worth living until I had a husband. And there came a time when I realized that that was idolatry before God. There's a great sermon by Tim Keller, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but I'm going to link to it. And it was really life changing for me. It just helped me to see that there's a natural order of priorities in your life, and everyone is looking to something to bring them happiness, whether it's a job or fame or money, or a husband. It could also be your children, and how that's out of order. And if you're not looking to God to be the source of your happiness, then your idol is going to break your heart. Idols will always break your heart. I wish I could remember that sermon by Tim Keller. It was so good. I'm going to link to it. I hope that you watch it. It was really life changing for me. But what happened was, so once I realized that having a husband, because I didn't think, I mean, I was just waiting to get married. Like, I had no purpose in my life. I had no real satisfaction, I guess you could say. I was just waiting to get married, and I was 28 when I heard this sermon. And and so once I realized that it was an idol and that I was looking for happiness and wasn't going to find it in a husband, I became really kind of sad and bitter. And it was quite depressing, but it was almost like the hope had been lost, so that my hope of happiness had been lost. And even though I understood that my source of happiness was to come from God. I didn't understand how to get it. And so I was left with a lack of hope, which made me very depressed. And sorry, this video is going long, but I just wanted to say that it was at that point that, even though I felt really sad and depressed, I lost that idol. And shortly after that is when I met my husband. We dated for almost 4 years. It was about 3.5 years. Wait, so 28. Yeah, so now I'm 32. And we met in May. So anyway, so yeah, it's just amazing how as soon as you let it go, that's when God brings it to you. At least that's what happened with me. And I know a lot of people say that as soon as they stop looking for the one, it's when they showed up. So I would just say that without a doubt, God has somebody in mind for you, and you should not settle or think that he's not there. It takes work to find and meet that person. You want to be in a good state with your health and, you know, just everything that you need to attract another person, I would say. So it's not a passive activity by any means, but you can completely rest in the fact that God has somebody out there for you. And it's just a matter of not putting them at the highest priority in your life. And when God has that opening and ability to bring them to you, in my opinion. So it was true for me, and I never thought I would get here. I never thought that I would be married. I'm married today, and I'm able to share my experience, which is just a huge blessing. And so I hope it encourages you. I hope that you can find just some peace to know that you can rest, that God has everything that you need, and it's just waiting for the time that you're ready. And so get yourself ready, is all I would say. And the plans that God has for you is far better and far and it's so much better than you could ever imagine, that like you don't know what you need and you don't really know what makes you happy. Only God does, and he has that for you. So take heart and get your priorities straight, and God will take care of the rest.